Welcome. Today we're going to give you a demonstration of System Programmer, which is an English computer programming language. So let's begin. System Programmer has 5 sections: a title, a style, a database, a scratchpad, and a logic section. Today we will walk you through a program called Sign-In and take you through the source code at the same time, so you can see how System Programmer works. Now, most programs start by designing how the output will look, and we are going to begin with a sign-in screen which will incorporate some of the concepts of System Programmer. In this sign-in programmer, we start with a window which has a background image. So here is our window, and it has a background image. The background image is called West Coast. So if we go and have a look at our style section, and over here we can see that our window, it's called Sign-In, and it has a background image called West Coast. Now we'll have a look at some of the other components of our screen. We'll have a look at Sign-In and Welcome. Now these two are labels in System Programmer, so we'll just have a look over here at the style of these two particular components. The first one is Welcome Sign-In. It's a font of Helvetica. It's got a font color of dark slate grey. It has a font size of 3.0, resulting in this particular style. Our next label is called Welcome. It has a font of Helvetica, its colour is black, and its font size is 4.8, resulting in this style appearing on the screen. The next component on the screen is what we call an input data item. And this is its style. It has a style called input style. And these are the various styles related to a data input item. So font is Helvetica, color is indigo, font size 2.5, the box color is white. The box color intensity is 100%. The box corners here are 80% corners. It has a padding, horizontal padding of 1% at the top and the bottom of the label sitting inside the input data item, and a vertical padding of 10%, which is the difference between the edges of the input data item and the edge of the box. This box has a shadow color of blue. The border, which is very difficult to see, it's actually silver, and the border depth is 0.2, which is the reason it's very hard to see, because it's a very narrow border, and the border style is solid. Now the next component on our screen is a text button, which is called Sign-In, and this is it sitting here. So font Helvetica, the font size is 3, font color is red. On mouse hover, so when our mouse hovers over this button, we want to change the color, and we can interchange between named colors, of which is 140, or RGB, red, green, blue, which gives you 16 million colors. And so 0, 0 and 0, that's 0 red, 0 green, 0 blue, gives us black. So when on hover, we change to black. When we click the mouse, which we won't do at the moment, but we change to white. The box color is red, none, green, completely saturated, and blue, none. So in this particular case, our box color is green. The box color intensity is 80%, so we can see through it a little bit, so you can see the layout of the image behind. Box corners in this situation is 30%, so it's slightly more square than this one up here. Padding vertical, padding horizontal 3, padding vertical is 5. Box shadow colour is blue again, you can see that just down around there. The border colour is magenta, so that's that lovely magenta there. We could also interchange with RGB, which is 255, 0255. It's commented out, so either one will do. The border depth is 10.5, so it's a bit more deeper than this one up here. And once again, the style is solid. We have a thing down here called a label called error message, which is not activated at the moment, but we'll talk about that soon. Now we're also going to quickly gloss over, we've got a database, which I talked about before, and an end database. And inside a database is a data set, and inside a data set are data records, and each data record contains data items. I'll talk those about just a little bit further when we get down through the program. And we have an area called Scratchpad, which is basically an area where we manipulate variables and do things. So let's have a look at the actual logic of our program required to actually put things on the screen now. So first of all, we're going to display our window, which is called Sign In, and it's got the window's got the background image of West Coast. Our first label is called Welcome Sign In. It's got a style which I've already talked about. It's got some text called Sign In, which is sitting up there. But the key thing is whereabouts it's located. It's actually centered across the screen, and it's 0.1% down. It's also got a width and a depth, 20% wide, and it's 5.0 deep. So this is why our sign in label is appearing here. Now we display a horizontal line from 0 across and 5 down, so it's going to be none across and 5 down, and it's going to be 99.9 wide and 0.2 deep. So that's the style of our horizontal line. We don't want to go to 100%, because if we go to 100%, we activate the horizontal scroll bar, and we don't want that. So similar thing here, we've got our, next we've got our next label, and it's positioned centered, it's 10% down. We've got our displaying our input data item, this one here, and it's located at this position on the screen. It's centered and it's 20% down. And our text button, which is called Sign In, it's got some text in the middle, it's called Sign In, and it's centered once again, it's 40 down. And we've got an error message, which we're not activating currently. And lastly, we have a horizontal line, which is right down the very bottom here. You can't see it at the moment. It's 96% down and 99.9% wide. So now we've got all the various components sitting on our screen, but we obviously not doing anything. So now we want to do something. So what we want to do is actually we want to validate this email address before we advance to the next program, so that we can open the gate and move to the next program. So when we click our button on button release sign in, we want to open the data set called administrators. So we're just going to have a quick look up here at our data set called administrators. Now here's our data set called administrators, and in that we've got a record for each one of the various administrators who are allowed to access the system. And within each record we've got 3 data items. Administrator name, which is 30 long, and it's a character, and it can have an initial value, but it's not this one. We've got a key. Every data record has a key, and it's called this one. For this one, it's the administrator email address. It's also 30 characters, and we've got an administrator password, 10. It's characters, and there's no initial value. We're not going to use the administrator password for this particular exercise, but it's in there. So what we're going to do is that first of all, we've opened the data set called administrators. Now what we want to do is we want to copy the input data item email address. So this is the input email address. We want to copy it to the Scratchpad area, administrator email address. So we're going to copy it from there from the program into here, just so that we can use that to work on. Now we're going to test it. If the Scratchpad administrator email address is equal to the record data item administrator email address, so we are going to test to see if this administrator email address sitting in Scratchpad is equal to one of these records in the dataset administrators. Yes, we can proceed. So looking at our instruction, our if statement, if Scratchpad that is equal to that, we're going to load the next program. And we're also going to sending Scratchpad administrator email address. We want to send the administrator email address because that is the key to the record, and we want to send that to the next program. Otherwise, we want to update a label called error message with this text: our server does not recognize your email address. And then we're going to end the program, or end the if statement. This is what starts here. We're going to close the dataset administrators further up because we've already opened it here. We're going to end the sign in button, which we're over here, and we're going to end the program. Either way, we want to end the program, because if we go to the next program, we want to end it. So let's start. So I'm going to enter Mike, which is not a valid email address, and I can either activate it through the sign in button, or I can just press the enter key. So I'll press the enter key. Oh, and our server does not recognize your email address. So that's the error message that we've talked about. Otherwise, update a label called that. Our server does not recognize your email address. Okay, let's put a valid one in, mike@garrycone.com. This time I'll press the enter key, and we've arrived at our next program. And our next program has used that key to locate my administrator username. Thanks for watching.